No, we were over and we opened this wall up and then we were on the
Unit room?
on the thing, so, but it was fun. The DJ was very talented,
That, you have to have a good
so,
teacher.
yeah.
Because if you don't, things go south very quickly.
There was some fun karaoke. So, welcome. Most, I'll just introduce myself anyway. I'm Paul Blatt. I've been a member here for 8 years. More important than my role at Gesher, and getting the work and the things I experienced from Chirikpa are kind of guided me in my career path and got me to what was then GCS. And then I'm also the CEO of Gesher Services. And Gesher is, mission is to provide hope and support to people. There's a bridge to hope and support for people that work at home in the community, serve the Metro Detroit area while meeting the needs of the Detroit Jewish community. So both of those are really important to us. And I'm going to take a step back because I think just as we're talking with a small group, and please jump in. Questions are actually easier for me than me just talking. So jump in and ask any questions and we'll go from there. But one, Gesher is the Hebrew word for bridge. So we are that bridge to hope and opportunity. When we, in 3 years ago, we gained Gesher Community Services. We were a part of a merger of two organizations, JVS, Jewish Vocational Services, and Kadima, came together, and we were trying to then figure out what our new name was going to be. And as we were going through this branding process, it's interesting because one of my staff said to me, I think we should be Gesher. And then we spent a lot of money, and then we went through this process, and our branding expert from Boston was sitting there and he kept saying that everything we were doing was the bridge to this and the bridge to that. And then he who was not Jewish, wanted and knew that we had these like goals of we wanted the Jewish community to know that we were Jewish, and we wanted the larger community to know that we were there for them. And so he comes and he said, finding a Jewish word, Hebrew word that is going to do this, because you can't do anything with a CH, right? No fuss, notes, right? These are like what some of our limitations. So, and then he comes and he goes, aha. Oh, ahava. And it's like, he couldn't even say the word properly, and so how is that going to be our word for everybody else? And we went through and he had all these other things, and then Eric, my peer, said to him, why didn't you do Gesher? And he goes, well, it just didn't feel good in the mouth. In the English mouth. It works. So that's how we became Gesher.
Then he taught them the word share.
Because it wasn't meant to be, absolutely. And so it fits in a lot of the work that we do. But I think important is to take a step back and understand why our Jewish community has organizations to serve our Jewish community. And because sometimes in our society nowadays, you go, why does it need to be a Jewish agency that does this? And why do we have to have a Jewish agency that does that? And I was actually having breakfast the other day with a friend of mine who runs a really large nonprofit or community, a black man, and he's like, I admire that the Jewish community has all these resources for the Jewish community. I wish that our black community had the able had done these things. And I had to explain doctors could not find a place to practice. Jewish doctors did not have a place to practice a hospital because they were discriminated. Right? And so we, our community that already had Hebrew freeloader in place, already had Jewish cemeteries, had places for our community, had to build a hospital so that our Jewish doctors had the ability to practice. And in the moment that that hospital was created, it said, we're here for the Jewish community, and we will serve and welcome all from day one. Right, so we were discriminated against as a Jewish community, and we wouldn't want to do that to others. So think about it. And then you say, from the health club, right? DAC, we weren't allowed to be members. So we created the JCC. Right? We have other areas in our lives where we were discriminated or we were not welcome, and we then created services. So in 1941, JVS was created, Jewish Vocational Service, to help at that time women. It was set up, there was a woman inside a community center that was there to help women gain employment, especially during the war while they were going through alcohol. Makes sense, right? So then, shortly after the war, we then have our survivors of Holocaust and our soldiers who were injured during the war. And our society wasn't really good at welcoming people like that. And so they actually set up workshops in areas that employers brought work there, but these people that look different, people with PTSD, who identify as PTSD, right, would have a place to have some meaningful employment, take care of their families. But that was the next step, evolution of this space. And so, okay, so that's over. Why do we still need to? Right? Sinai, because now Jewish doctors are practicing. Sinai was sold. Right? In the 90s or somewhere around there, they sold off the assets of the hospital because it was no longer necessary. They created the Jewish fund in our community. They took the money that they sold at the hospital and they created a foundation to help to fund other stuff. And again, going back to the mission of that work, they created the Jewish fund, and it was to serve Jewish programming and support Jewish activity in our community. And similar to the original mission, they also set up that they are providing supports for the larger community in their medical schools. So the Jewish fund funds lots of different health-related activities, mostly in the city of Detroit, and has other programs for the Jewish community. Right, so it's in our DNA to do this. When our board at Gesher was discussing why do we need to stay Jewish? Right? This is a conversation I asked my board. I say to my board, all right, why is it necessary for us to stay Gesher? Why do we have to have this Hebrew name? Why do we want to be here? And while we were having this conversation, October 2nd, it was, sure, right? I was asking our board, what does it mean for us to be a Jewish agency, and why do we need to exist? October 7th happened, and the conversation ended. Because in their heads, in our heads, it was kind of like, oh, here's the answer. so just, it's important that we recognize why our community builds systems around, why they still exist, and why we do it. So Gesher, so let me tell you a little bit about what Gesher does, in the different ways that we interact. And let me also say that as our mission says, that the immediate needs of the Jewish community serving the larger Metro Detroit area. Last year, Gesher served 33,000, about 2,500 Jews. So that might be alarming, right? You're like, and tomorrow, when I'm presenting to a group over at Jewish Federation, right, they're going to go, are you really Jewish? And that's always the thing I always get. So 2,500 is about 5% of our Jewish community. Right? That they need our specific services. Because fortunately, a lot of folks don't need it. If we only serve Jews, we would be able to serve about, we would not be able to do about the services in the field, and we'd be able to serve about 5. Right? Because we have to do that. So, real important to recognize that we are meeting the needs of our Jewish community. I say to everybody, if you feel like we're not doing good for our Jewish community, you need to tell me, and we will make sure that we double down on this. But if we are doing that and meeting that need, then it's really important. So, I said in our mission, work at home and community. So that's pretty broad. So work for us. We support people in lots of different areas of employment. And part of that could be, we do, supporting individuals with intellectual and developmental disabilities, that we have coaches, that we have contracts, and we have places where we go and do employment in the community to take those individuals. And our coaches are there helping them, adding another level of support so that those individuals can have meaning.
For example, like helping write resumes or acting like as an employment agency.
In some of our work, but in this case, it's actually taking and going with them to their town.
Like a job coach.
Yeah. So we will, different ways that we do that. There is a local entrepreneur who started a candy company, Zally Candy. Zally was actually started by a teenager who she went to the dentist, and the dentist said, "Can you eat more candy because you're rotting your teeth out?" And she created a sugar-free candy brand. So our folks go, people that we support will go and actually do all the packaging and help that company. Everyone that we help in support and employment are at minimum wage or better, and they're doing really meaningful work. So the other way is Troy Arsenal over in the Warren. Familiar with that? The IRS building, the Rose Park building downtown, Cadillac Place building, the state building downtown as well. We have contracts to clean all of those spaces. In fact, we clean about 5 million square feet of offices.
Wow.
Of which 82% of the people that we are currently employing in that space are individuals. So different supports, different shows, but able to give a plan.
You try to place people in employment within their local communities when possible.
As best as possible. Yeah, I mean, and so that actually will then take me to the next level. So we contract with Michigan Youth Services. Michigan Youth Services focus is to help people with an identified disability, any disability, to for employment. And so we will work with those folks and we do placement. And usually it's competitive, independent competitive when we're working with patient rehab services. And so somebody with any identified disability, could be physical, could be cognitive, could be mental health challenges, whatever it is that we are supporting those individuals, we try to place them and because you're working independently, you gotta be able to get there, right? You have to be able to utilize the resources from your community so we will try to make those placements as close to that individual's needs as possible. And we do that in Cone, Oakland, and the Wayne counties. So we serve the entire metro Detroit area supporting that work.
You provide transportation.
Yeah, so it's the question of the same here. So when we are doing our supported employment, the first program I was speaking of, people get brought to one of our buildings and then so they have transportation to our building and then we help them get to their employment. For folks that are going through this other space, we actually do bus training. Right, so we will go and help folks understand how to use the bus system so that because
God bless them. I don't envy
anyone
that
has to navigate,
situation,
right?
right?
So really cool thing that we just recently started doing was some of the folks that we were working with.
Deer, is it deer? Oh, my
Far
God.
more interesting than all.
Yeah.
Oh, Sample!
Yeah, I'm sorry.
One of the things that we realized is there were some people that either their family didn't think that they were able to get a license, or that the individual thought they could get a license and probably wasn't good for them. And so we actually just given a grant to put together a driving simulator. And so it affords an assessment for the individual whether they can drive safely in the community or not, or whether it's smart for them to get their license, or in other spaces if it's time to let the license go for some of our other populations that we serve. And so that has been a great tool for us to be able to help people. So if the family's scared and doesn't know if driving is a good thing for them, or to help you put a realistic expectation for the individual, both ways is a really powerful tool. When it is appropriate, we will bring a relationship with one of the driving schools that has one of their instructors has a different certification to help folks with different disabilities to get their license. So they're actually training folks.
Yes, and FYI, you go to the Beaumont Rehab Center on Coolidge for their driving skills, because of a medical problem.
Yeah.
$5,000 not covered by insurance.
Wow.
Because we have patients that, I work in ophthalmology. If they had a stroke in their eye or glaucoma or something like that, they would refer to the rehab there, and it's very pricey.
Yeah.
So is that simulator already in place
Yes.
at Gesher, one of your buildings?
Yeah. So our location is Southfield. So we have offices in Southfield. We have offices in the city of Detroit. Our office over in Campfield. Our Southfield office is at 12 mile. Southfield Road between 12 and 13 mile. Those are our two bases. And then when we continue with work, the other part of the work is supporting folks in our community to gain without or whether or not they have an identified barrier or disability. So 18 years ago, I was a client of Gesher. I was unemployed and so it's serving all different abilities, all different backgrounds, all different groups. We have a program specifically for job seekers, and a program specifically focused to bring into it not the workforce at a period of time and then want to return, really trying to find different affinity groups to create community around that job seeking process. We have computer training classes for folks that don't really have computer skills are in the right place to afford them the right employment. We do days, but the number of people who still literacy is an issue for some people, numeracy is an issue for basic skills for people, but computer skills is definitely an issue for folks, and so we have computer classes to help them build those skills to help them use those as well. In the last 5 years, we also are part of public workforce space, so Mission Works, if you're familiar with Mission Works. So we operate the Mission Works office in Waterford, on 59 there. It's Gesher staff that operates that facility. We operate the Detroit Works office in the old Durfee Middle School. Any Detroiters remember Durfee? So we're in Durfee, and we support the community doing that. And in Macomb County, we operate their 3 Mission Works offices, as well as up in St. Clair County, Fort Lauderdale. And in the Mission Works offices, that there's lots of different resources that folks have available to them. Employment or additional training. There's a lot of supportive services that are afforded to people, so we have the ability by using the Mission Works offices that they have some resources for some childcare related issues, some return to work and need a little extra funds to get them over that hump of one of the big challenges, right, is that people gain employment, especially for younger moms, right? They now, what you supposed to do with kids, because you've been home caring for the kids, you can have that expense, now you have this expense, and all of those different barriers, removing some of those barriers. In our Mission Works offices, people can help with expungement of past involvement with the judicial system, and get some of that to help them afford employment. Cars and other things to really take away those barriers, lower those barriers, help people. So we're able to help.
A lot of stuff. How many employees do you have?
Yeah, so we have about 460 employees right now and about 30 vacancies.
Really?
So lots of different ways that we can still be able to impact folks. And on the employment side, just to kind of wrap up that work stuff, with Oakland County years ago started an initiative called Oakland 80. Oakland 80, the governor in 2019 put forward this desire for 60% of working age adults in Michigan to have some sort of post-secondary degree course. So the idea is a higher level of education that we have in our community, and more attraction for business, but also more education leads to higher wages. And so the governor's like, let's set it to 60% of Michiganders to do that. When Oakland County was looking at it, they were at 57% already. And they were like, well, all right, we'll keep that now, no problem. But then Oakland County had overachievers as Oakland County tends to do. It's like, I was in this meeting, and they're like, well, let's shoot for 70%. Let's shoot for 80% of Oakland County residents, and then they landed at 80%. Now looking back on it, I should have been a little more vocal, not knowing I was going to be in all the universities, the Bakers and Oakland University and other, all of the OCC campuses, helping people to overcome some of the barriers to non-finishing their degrees. And we are also now working in the high schools, helping high schools bring resources, FAFSA completion. There's like if you go up 30% more likely to attend college if you complete your FAFSA. Just by completing, exactly what we're working towards that thing. And so we have staff that sit in many of the local high schools as well, and then in the schools. So we had one individual that we were at on a veterans event, trying to help people. There's also people that are out there that have some college but no degree, and trying to help those folks to overcome that barrier. And one of our folks is at our veterans event, and this gentleman comes up to him and says, you know, I was using my GI Bill, and was trying to go to college, and I was, and I had family, and never got a chance to finish my degree, and so our staff worked with, he's 78 years old.
Oh my gosh.
And he had just never gotten it, and so we went back and we were able to connect him to OCC, and he was, the thing that he had not completed was the physics.
Oh.
And so he had been like all of these years and any credits that he had gotten over time. And so they credited him with his Army experience. And he walked at graduation last spring, at the OCC graduation, and his great grandchildren.
Oh, that's right. That's so great. I thought you were going to say because it was pickleball.
Yeah.
Got it, but that's
And he had like, done all these different jobs, and his like goal was to have him so lots of different ways that we support people. Of that 33,000 people that I mentioned earlier, probably about 23,000 of them were workforce people. Somehow it was work. And so that's a big piece of what we do. The merger that we hold, so before I go to that, so this is like that custom spot between, you do certain things and you try to push things into categories, right? You say, well, are you at work or are you at home? What does this program do? The program that always falls in the gap for us is our financial education. So we work with individuals to support them in helping them build their credit score, home buyer education, just basic budgeting is often what we do. So in some ways it fits in workforce because there's all kinds of research that says that somebody who has control of their finances is actually a better employee. Right? That you then don't have your stresses are different, you understand things differently. So we do a lot of that work with our job seekers, and we do financial education. And when we talk to PUD, housing urban development, they provide us with some funding. They say every person you ever work on a budget with always has something to do with housing. Right? Or at least 30% of our budget goes towards our homes, our rent, or something. And so that's a really fit in this different space. We have one of our programs, financial literacy, that one of the banks support us with. It's called Harlan. And so anyone that goes through the 6 that, obviously, their credit's going to go up. Or if their credit score has shown improvement, they will also, or they can use it for non-payment assistance. It's a really cool thing. We've seen folks go up in that period of time from 550 to 700. Really change their life and really, really amazing things. So housing at home is another piece of what we do. I mentioned earlier, it's a merger between JS and DEMA was an agency that served people with mental health challenges. And so housing is one of the bigger pieces for that work. So we do housing for people with severe or persistent illness. That's for folks with schizophrenia, bipolar, severe depression, anxiety. We operate 18 homes in Oakland County and help people be safe. And some of these homes are staffed 24 hours a day. We are there with them, responsible and supporting them that way. Other homes are as little as 10 hours. These folks live as independent as it's safe for them and safe for the community. They just need supports to make sure that they're keeping them in beds and they're working their plan and whatever supports that they need that we can provide. So, and then some of our homes are 16 hours a day, other ones we're 10 hours a day. So it just depends on what that individual needs that we're able to meet that in a way and supporting keeping those. A lot of times folks that wouldn't be in one of our homes, often folks with mental illness find themselves experiencing homelessness, hospitalized in a hospital, or possibly even death. So that's the importance of this work that we do. Hospitalization, our folks last year, 95% of them did not have hospitalization. Yeah, it's not bad. Which means that somebody supported them, keeping them off their meds. And hospitalization is not a horrible thing, but it's just that because sometimes as part of that journey, that's necessary. So also in that work that we do with people with mental illness, we operate a football house, which is a day program for people. Many of the folks are people that live in their homes, and they come together through the day, and they are the one, they operate our clubs. And so they all have a job that they're responsible for, that to build their skills, but also to build their purpose. You have to be there, and you're part of, you're one of the people that's a greeter. You have to be there to be able to do that. Or part of making lunch for the day. Your job is to help cook for your friends, and so you have to get there. And so it really keeps people in a healthy space, really keeping them focused. One group, their jobs are to reach out to their friends that don't make the program for those days and check in on them.
Where is that from?
That one is on 10 Mile, just east of Telegraph.
I used to work at Cademas.
Oh, sure.
They don't have their own building anymore?
So the Kadima building that was on 12 Mile, we sold it at the time of the merger. The activity center that used to be the lower level of that space is where the house now. And so we sold that building and then we built that program out. We were all mostly administrative, was in the building on 12 Mile, and we were able to do them all. Office on the top.
So is that program also the housing piece of it, also for people with like autism, intellectual disabilities, or is it mostly mental?
It's mental illness.
Okay.
And part of that is already in the Jewish community, JARP exists. And so from JARP, from those homes, come to our employment programs. So there's always the right way for us to find that.
You still have sheltered workshops?
Yeah, so no, in 2017, we stopped our shelter workshop. Shelter workshop was similar to what I described earlier about how we had these programs for veterans and people right early in the 50s. In the 80s, we moved that model to employment for people with intellectual developmental disabilities, and we brought the work in for that. Think about it. We hope that we can create a society that everybody is welcome to have a space. If we do this segregated work, we're really messaging to these individuals that they don't have a place in the community. Ironically, we closed our shelter workshop in the city of Detroit in like 90, and we didn't close our workshop in Oakland County until 17. The community fought us on closing our workshop. The individuals, families just felt safe, and we have some very older workforce that we had there by the time we had closed the workshops. And so at one time we had like 250 people that were coming to Southwood doing work. As time went on, we weren't putting new people into that space, but it was time to stop.
We've absorbed all the staff and.
Yeah, so during the merger, we actually, nobody lost the position. Actually, we had new positions created and so we were fortunate not to. So everyone that wanted to come on was welcome to come and we had those. We were, during the process, whenever we had a person that left, we made strategic decisions whether or not we were going to fill certain positions so that we knew that their director of finance left at one point. We already had a CFO, so there was no reason to fill that space, but everyone had one. So in that space, right, so being able to build this clubhouse. And then the other part of clubhouse is there's an employment piece of clubhouse as people then have this desire. One of the challenges for folks with mental health challenges is that when they get hospitalized or when their meds are no longer regulated, they cycle in and out, and what happens is people often lose employment. And so Clubhouse has built in, we have, when we help folks with certain placements, transitional placements, if for some reason they need to step away from work for a period of time, we have folks that can backfill those positions to keep their job so that the employer doesn't feel the need to go and find somebody else. So one of our staff actually will go work that person's job for a while until that person can
No wonder you're always smiling. All this good stuff happening
It's
around here.
amazing, yeah. The cool thing, I'll give a shout out, our first employment opportunity that we had was at Elvis.
Was it Deanna?
This is the new place. We used to have somebody that was placed there many years ago,
Yes.
but of recent, Albert had a need, and so he hired one of our members from our clubhouse.
That's right. That's right.
And that partnership. Yeah. Other questions on that space? Everyone, right? So I never know. Yeah, right. So and it's always been that was the thing when actually before we merged, I would always go like, I don't know what my elevator pitch is because where am I gonna intrigue or ask somebody or be able to talk about the different work we're going to do. And so it's always exciting.
Is it handouts or anything?
Yeah, well, sure. bag for all these bags.
So is there certain criteria as far as, you know, do you need to be Jewish, or is there a financial level, or?
Yeah, so, definitely not a requirement to be Jewish. And being that we serve so many more from outside the Jewish community, there are just very few programs. We do a summer internship for college students that they do. They will do their internship at one of the Jewish agencies. So at Jewish Family Service, at Jewish Senior Life, at Hebrew Free Loan, at the JCC, at Hillel, all of that. They do 32 hours of their week at their agency, and then the last 80 hours, or the last 8 hours of the week, those youth come together and go and learn what each of them are doing at different agencies. It's called our joint program, and those folks, many of those alumni have gone on to become professionals in our Jewish community or lay leaders in our Jewish community. So it's a really cool.
Is it a paid internship?
It's a paid summer internship. It's 8 weeks long, and it's just a really cool experience. So one of the things when I had the opportunity to talk to that group, middle of summer when you're there, and I stroll in, and I thought about doing it today, but I can't say that. I stroll in with my winter boots, and I have these high winter boots, and the young folks are looking at me like, oh, I have like a suit on, and they're like, what? What's up with that? And it takes a few seconds for somebody to go, hey, why do you wear boots? And the thing that I talk to them about as they're going through summer employment, we've all heard the expression, pull yourself up by your bootstraps, right? Has anyone ever tried to do that? You ever tried to pull yourself up by your bootstraps?
No, I don't think so.
No, because it's absurd. And actually, the original expression is to pull yourself over a fence by your bootstraps.
Oh, now that makes sense.
So you're supposed to grab here
Right.
and pull yourself over that. It's not possible, right? You like how, you can't. And it's meant to be an absurd.
When I was a kid, people understood the phrase you gave us, and now people don't understand.
Well, because it's used as like a point of like, pull yourself up by your bootstraps.
But I don't know when it changed.
I don't know either. When somebody thought that that was a way that you were supposed to take care of yourself, right? And it doesn't. It's absurd. And so when I talk to the joint interns, I talk to them about the reason why all of their agencies exist and the work that they're doing, and the reason why we have a community is people at times in their life, we all need community to support us. Right? And so we should never feel like we're supposed to be anything on our own. It's supposed to be that the community is there at different times in their lives. They will need those supports for, and at different times in their lives, they should need their support.
That's beautiful.
And so it's really, that's part of why we have human service agencies and why we support people in different ways. At one point, I needed the services. At one point, during that same time, I had gone to Jewish Family Service and needed help to get health insurance. And so JFS had that forwarded to me. And then now I have the ability to support them.
Do you work with JFS at all?
certain things in certain places that we stay out of it. So Jewish Family Service is responsible for mild and moderate mental health challenges, right? The folks are just having anxiety or little things, life circumstances that they're supporting, maybe that when you do severe, right? So it's always important for us to figure out. We have an initiative that we work together with Jewish Family Service to provide for folks that are coming to them for emergency needs. Often those individuals also have employment-related issues. So we cross training of our staff and will handle, really want to handle off some of that stuff. So we live closely with Hebrew Free Loan for our financial literacy. Somebody, Hebrew Free Loan offers a consolidation loan, right? Before somebody can get consolidation loan from Hebrew Free Loan, they're referred to our financial educators. So we sit down and work with them about their budget, how they would, because they don't want to give a loan and just move somebody's debt, right? They want to make sure that the loan is going to be able to help them truly consolidate and that they change some of their behaviors so that their debt doesn't go higher as a result. So we work closely with them in that space to be able to do that as well. And then I'll move to in the community. So we hit the at work, we hit it at home, and in the community we do different things. Clubhouse is one of our community efforts. The question or shelter workshops. When we discontinued our shelter workshop, we had folks who had been coming to us for 30 years. And what were they going to do during the day now as a result? And so we did a lot of focus groups and talking to our people and really understanding what they would want to do if they weren't having to be working, or if they wanted to work, help them get to different employment. But a lot of them just described some activities that we were doing. We created a program we call it Choices. They have a choice of what they're going to do throughout the day. And some of those individuals do some of their activities in our building. And so it could be working kitchen in there, they do activities, they do different other gross motor stuff, they just talk community and building for their community center that they do. And then part of their day is actually going out into the community and doing different activities. We had one individual who said 30 years that he had been working and working at the same workstation. And every day when he came to the building, he had his routine and went to his workstation and sat.
They like the
Right. And so it took us 6 months. And finally our staff got him to learning more different things that we had to learn about him. And we finally got him to go into the working kitchen and make food. And from there, so much other stuff. He now goes on outings and now does, but it was just like changing that routine for him and giving permission for him to do it differently. So sometimes the outings are going to the store, purchasing stuff that we're doing with the team and that. So for those individuals who were in workshops for many years, we were able to transition them to a different activity. My dream for that program is that the only reason we'll have that in the future is for when folks want to retire and there's not another resource for folks with disabilities necessarily a safe space for them. If not, even if we could create a safe space for them, I'd love to retire that program in a few years when those folks that we serve, because I don't ever anticipate new people coming to this program because it's younger folks that so many different things supported them in the community differently. And maybe it's just
I love that you're because it's very integrated and very much diverse affirming as well as continuing confidence. And I think that when you
our systems, unfortunately, like to put people in boxes. And they reward boxes as well. And so it's hard to move folks out of that space. It's hard to move our staff out of that space. It's hard to move the systems out of that space. And so we continue to evolve and try to, but it's still, if we can put that vision in place, hopefully others will hear it and see it as something. That longer term to help move the system. Another space that we do for the community is our Ground Center. We work with Gesher. The Ground Center is a day program for people living in dementia. And so we do that in our Southfield building as well as in West Bloomfield on Eagle and Drake campus. We have a center out there. So the Ground Center is a place for folks with dementia, supporting them, day activities while their care partners are able to rest, go shopping, take a shower, maybe go to work, depending on who the person is supporting them in this. Really get that great. And it is one of our more vibrant programs, which is what I love about it. It's music and art and bowling in the space, we do Tai Chi, these folks are exhausted by the end of the day.
I know somebody's mom that was there, and they just thought it was the greatest thing for their girls.
And it's for their mom and for them.
And for them too.
Be able to get that break. And it's tough for folks to get to that place that they start to recognize it and then be able to act on it. Yeah. But it's really because some of it is just the idea.
What you need, even if you don't know.
Yeah. Or even recognizing that that's what you need. So a lot of our work needs to do more education on that, recognizing us as a society being comfortable with it, or feeling like it's okay to do, because we feel there's a lot of feelings around that. We want to take care of we feel like we're supposed to take care of our loved ones. And in a lot of ways, when we get to that place, we then realize we can take better care if we can, or different care, or some folks home health care, solution, or
Is there a minimum meeting to go to age or 18?
Most of our programs are geared towards adults. We do have a summer internship program for people with disabilities that we do employment experience for that group of folks that are ages maybe 14, but it's 16. Cooperation and the one that goes below adult age is this summer internship program. And I even put all of our programs in there. I didn't have put all those programs into because I made this huge mistake when I was a COO, and that's you working with our board. And we're sitting in a meeting, one of my board members was telling me about a program, and she said, how did I not know that we do this? No, I did not know. And so I went and created this spreadsheet, all of the different programs, all of the different services, and at that time it was 72 different services that we had. And I shared that out with the board, and instead of saying, wow, you all do And I'm like, okay, that's the last time I'll ever put that document anywhere to let folks know all the different things that we do, because and so knowing that we do at work, at home, in the community should be enough that somebody could say, let me call and say, do you have this thing that you want to put into this?
Your intake people to manage.
What's that?
It's like your intake people to figure out
Yeah.
how much program.
Yeah, and you know, so we get, and so it's really about, you know, getting to us and knowing, like, this is a need I have, and then us to help figure out who's that person. And we actually just hired a new guy to help folks navigate the mental health system a little bit better, because that's really, it's
Yeah.
ridiculous.
Yeah.
It really is, and so, knowing how to get through it, and then once you're in the system, there's supposed to be somebody that's supposed to be able to help you, support coordinator, case manager, and even then, that's difficult, and so, often with our calls, especially for folks with, mental illness, families call and they say they need a thing, they need 20 other things, and that's usually what a lot of times you call them. So our goal, it's okay.
That's why I get lucky referrals.
Every program is different, right? So for most of our employment stuff, it's somebody calls themselves. We work with Open Community Health Network and Detroit Integrated Health Network. We work with Machinery Rehab Services, so a lot of referrals come through those systems. And somebody that knows that we exist, call and say, how do I get help? And we try to help them to navigate the bigger system. We try really hard to utilize as many resources as we can to be able to take that burden off the families. Many of our programs, there's not out-of-pocket cost. We are fortunate that we have contracts with lots of different agencies, that we have Blessing Federation, which has a federation agency, people give money to federation, parts of those dollars to support our work, do certain things that a lot of other nonprofits are not able to access because of our support from federation. That's the discussion. No, it's very true. Tomorrow I'm meeting with like Israeli women that are new to Detroit who are from this, so it's going to be a conversation.
Which is why your pictures of the Jewish news office. You
I
get around.
always ruin every time that he's enjoying the Jewish news and then he sees my picture. So yeah, lots of different ways that we impact the community. There's that fine line of wanting to be able to do more and not wanting to do something that we shouldn't be doing. And there's always more and different that we should be doing.
Do you deal with insurance at all? Like when I worked at VMA as a social worker, most of the patients or clients were on Medicare.
Yeah. So, we have not historically dealt directly with Medicaid and Medicare. And Medicare thing has dropped a few years back from the Canadian side of things. We're now getting on panels because we have a few social workers who would qualify to bill services back to insurance companies. And so we're building on that right now to be able to bring that back and be able to provide those services as some of our residents, some of them are Medicaid, some of them are not, some of them are spend outcomes, and so we want to be able to support them as best as we can and also maximize the differences.
For a student, like, they, the MRS counselor comes to the high school, and then we
Yeah, right, that's the, or you can always call our local rehab department and, they'll help you navigate how to do that. We haven't done a lot of, our student rehab work, in Oakland County. For some reason, we were not in that space, but
Yeah.
I just got a call the other day, actually, I was working out there in the morning, when the function was working high, just said that she just totally didn't have work with them in the summer, so, but even a referral, sometimes it's easier to go through and get, the hard part about any of these systems is you have to tell the counselor what you want. You have to know what you want to be able to tell the counselor, and our whole rehab team will help you to use the language to help you get the information.
You were in high school?
No, well, I'm the director of special ed, so I don't know, I talked to you about coming in and I just here just to see what how we can partner, but I asked them to try 16 minutes, not just like this.
What else? That's all we do. It's not actually all we do, there's lots of, oh, we run an electronic recycling business. Yeah. So when your computers come offline and you don't use your old laptop, you can always bring it over to our building in Southfield and they will manage it appropriately. We are certified through what's called R2 Rios, which is showing that we demonstrate the ability to destroy all their data and that 98% of the materials that we handle will never damage.
That is very much to know, because to be taken into soccer, you don't know where it's.
I'll tell you where your stuff on Saturday is going to come from our building.
Oh, good. That's cool.
Yeah, so we have a contract with Safra, any electronics that they drop off, anyone drops off there, we'll bring in.
That's great to know.
We then will remanufacture it and
Oh, that's wonderful.
take care of that. And the cool thing is that, when we built that business, the vision was that it was a fully integrated workforce. So we have, some individuals with barriers to employment for various reasons, sometimes identified disabilities, sometimes we have a program where we're supporting people experiencing homelessness. We started to work in that program and the better employment from there. So different, we have one individual, this is my success, our success story that I'm always so proud of. We have one individual that was working with MRS and had severe behavior activity, had all kinds of problems with all kinds of employment, and MRS was prepared to keep this individual unemployable. He's been with us, August will be with us.
Wow, that's great.
That's awesome.
And he is our highest producing employee, and he is the most beloved.
Wow.
If you found a place that was a good place for him, and he doesn't mess around.
What does he do?
A lot of what his work is taking as we get large gaylords, big things from Sakura, he then takes it out and distributes it into the different places that those materials go. So these gaylords come in and he takes them to gaylords and puts them in the places that then go to the next
So it's
level.
like Thomas Niche.
But then he's gone with us to sometimes some of the local communities. We do electronic recycling day or recycling days, and our team will be there. And he's doing it for pulling it out of your car and doing everything.
Great stories.
What else? So there's lots of stuff in there. If there's ever any questions, we reach out or if there's any way that you can support. That's we were meeting with all of the executive directors of the see, talk to Sheriff.
Thank you very much.
Good job.
Thank you.
There's been more people than.
I only expected 3 more people.
Oh, we're not afraid.
Thanks for coming.
Thank you.
Thanks for coming twice.
Yes. I was here last week, Wednesday. Oh. At the day run. I was like, where's Paul? It's next. Oh, there's Sundays at Shul. No, I'm no, it's not every Sunday. Okay, next. No, you know, there's a little bit of time. Oh, you're here with somebody?
That's the intent.
Have you heard about on my own? Oh, gosh. I volunteer there. It's a small agency in Troy. And we work with people with intellectual disabilities.
I've been to the restaurant. I mean,
They're just kind of low IQ or whatever. And they have all kinds of programs for them. Skills, and then there's like Somerset Apartments, the office is good. They have like those corporate areas. It helps them, budgeting, whatever they need. So I help with their goals. I'm retired, so and I can use some of those skills.
right? That's amazing.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, I kind of heard of it, but I don't know if I ran into them.
Yeah. Very nice presentation, thank you. No, we're just gonna take yeah, the federal employee, that's rough right now. So,
Yeah.
and, I have a lot of skills, but.
Well,
Working on a very specific law. Performance. So it looks on its face, but really there's a lot that goes on, so I just see.
Yeah.
And I've been doing a little bit, like, this one will be one organized structure, so I think.
Jason is a team.
How do the groups work? I saw them advertise. What, does he want to?
It's just that folks come and in the initial conversation, I think, the women are working with it's really about something. Or
Because I can think of so many people's area.
Yeah.
It's like, forums, so.
Yeah.
They're all marketing or something, and so like, bring our.
I was gonna
How many
say,
people do you start
well, I
with?
mean, if there's, mention it, you might go, yeah, it's great, let's get, we've done it, or we just literally, each one unemployment crisis, and there's different cohorts that are coming, and there, I was new to the agency, where I It's usually automotive.
Right, that's that too, right? So, he needs something. Yeah, so, but then he also. Disabilities, and so, just still not, so like, I don't know. Right. Like, we give them the best of both. Yeah.
Well, so we have so many different
Pros
streams.
Yeah.
Right, like,
I'm sure.
like our Michigan Works offices, we're sending more notes, and we have folks from Cadwell, or Keys, and folks from Memphis, was that like all of them are like, oh, and it's like, so I got like all these emails maybe not.
This was a fire.
Yeah,
Yeah, my agency, they sent an email. That was pulled back. Just allow me to grab.
and that's.
Half of our programs are still past this. When they were under, when you look at it, there's 4 jobs and there were 2 meetings. So that's oh, well.
Our contract for people with disabilities, is cleaning and stuff. So I don't.
How dare you.
In my contract, this one is, if there's even minor disabilities, there's contracts for people with disabilities.
There's also Schedule A, which is a way you can get hired in the federal government, municipal, and separate list. And you still have to meet the qualifications and stuff, but like, there are a lot of federal skills. And so I think I was like, there must have been, they must have had some things, there's some, government has been great for it. I haven't been in musical foundations.
Okay,
So,
yeah.
it's just a mess. This is like our new story.
So And so by the end of his first term, I'm still on my because he's figuring out how to do it.
Yeah, by the end of the term, they got it figured out.
I mean, it's
Our business time, but.
So,
Oh, yeah, that's right, our little.
yeah. Well, I'm sorry you're going through that.
You know, every time I feel bad for myself, I realize this is gonna be so hard. You guys are excited. Right. There's room for many feelings.
Yeah.
There are so many feelings going on.
Yeah.
Alright, so is it email or call? What's the best way?
If you want to email me, and then I'll connect you with Jason Johnson, he'll receive it. And he'll be able to get you each other.
I saw that too, when I was resume, like, do they specialize? Do they specialize in?
So,
They're not scientists, those kind of particular stuff.
they are all certified resume writers. So they do courses. That was something, it's interesting because when I actually was the director of the department, my staff was, our job is to see writers. So you help you write your own resume. And I never thought that. And so a few years ago, I finally convinced that team that maybe they're not.
Now the job is to.
That's it.
Which, I mean, it's actually been obviously up on my.
Yeah, I mean, there is that. We're not to make sure. So there's something, we see folks.
Okay, so it's this house. It's the job.
right, because we got the contract with soccer, so that was,
Yeah, we got to a place where
Rabbi, are you kind of
we're not.
right? Yeah.
So we're almost in the cusp of the
Is that music back here? I don't know.
more mature.
Oh, it's, no. Yeah.
All right, I'm sorry, I get out of here, you guys out, we're so happy, you should feel free. We're gonna go there. Thank you.
You know how I'm treated around here.
Okay, that's good. That's what I want to do. Thank you for doing this.
Lisa Marie Presley.
Oh, interesting. So, your child is somewhere.
Tyler, where are you?
He's having a hard morning this morning.
He didn't take his meds, and he said, I don't need to talk it through it, okay with that. This is,
Tyler, my guy.
example of why you can't do that.
That is a broken drum, so it sits back there on purpose because it's broken already. Okay, so I want to just touch base with you guys about a few things, which are, today we talked a little bit about the Holocaust. We talked about, some of the things leading up to it, like banning books and, the way that they shut down immigration and some of the other things that we're sort of, unfortunately sort of seeing some of that right now. So we talked about some sort of scary stuff, some hard stuff today, so maybe worth having a conversation just to see, like, to check in. As you might remember, we are gonna, at some point go together as a group to the Holocaust Museum. So I'm gonna call this week and find a time for that would be good for us to go. And we'll find a time together, and then we might bring some of the other kids last year cost didn't get a chance to go together. Last year's cost was not quite ready to handle it, so, but this year, I think it'll be all right. So, yeah, so I just say we talked about some tough stuff today, so check in and make sure, like, we talked about, but we also talked about, like, Grace, we talked about Israel for a long time. It's important stuff to talk about, like, how we're having a conversation about Israel currently and what it feels like and all those things. So I just want to check in about that. This music is driving me crazy. I know that it's really not that loud, and unless you're thinking about it, you can't think about it, but like, boy, oh boy. And Keith was like, I don't hear it. I was like, I hear it all the time. So it's the worst. One of the things that we hadn't talked about, the four of us yet, is, Grayson's bar mitzvah is coming up in a month. Yes. And so one of the things that we have done as a group, is like a class gift, which I think you and I talked about briefly. I just texted them. Oh, great. Oh. Oh, I love it. I thought you said so far. You said
Tyler's good with us so far.
yeah.
You want to do that? Okay.
Cool. So that way you don't have to worry about how much money or whatever. It's a nice thing that you can do together. And then
the ordering,
you can talk to us. You can talk to Tessa, or I can give you some options. Actually, we should talk to Laura because she ordered them last year for last year's class. So I think it's great. It's going to be very annoying in your house, which is excellent. Like, you can really use the shofar to cause a lot of problems for your family. Oh, did you? Yeah. See? We're gonna spend some time now working on Grayson stuff, and we were talking a little bit about using Pleasant Eating projects. I don't know if you talked to Stephanie about, second.
Yes, right before we came in.
Excellent. The other thing we were thinking about is, like, I don't know if Special Olympics has hockey, but like, we had, figure skaters who've done Special Olympics volunteering, so it's also like for your faceless child, it might be hard to ice skate and fix. But
I can see fine.
okay, I'm so glad. I think it's great.
There was one where, she said she was gonna try and find one where, like, playing chess with the elders.
Yeah. So I also think the elderly folks will love Tyler. I think they must.
He likes to talk.
They'll fall over their faces on it about. So we can connect Actually, Tyler, could we hear your, a few bars of your, chanting? A few of your verses that you're working on? Will you stand up on the bima and take your Torah book? We're all gonna sit down here. Yeah, like a bar, real quick. It's good practice. Good practice. Come on up. Come on up. Where's your book? Oh, over there. Grayson brought it for you. What a nice guy.
Thank you, Ray.
What a nice guy.
No, Grayson, you can go first.
No, he's not. We're gonna